What I'm about to teach you in this video is going to forever change your life because one of the things that holds a lot of us back from our potential is this incessant fear of failure. It's like this looming dread that hangs over us and stops us from taking the action that we know is going to help us get to that next level of success. Like, think about how many things in your life have stopped you from doing what you so wanted to do because you were afraid of failing. And you know what the funny thing about this fear of failure is? Is that it's not necessarily the failure in the sense that holds us back, but the judgment that we think we are going to get from the people around us if we don't succeed, which I think is just sad. I think it's so sad that you are playing it small in life, that you're holding yourself back from your dream life because you're just so worried and so scared of what other people are going to think of you. I want you to stop living this small, sad life and for you to stop failing because that is possible. I'm going to show you how in this video. This video is going to help you take back power in your life so that failure doesn't ever hold you back from the life that you want to live. First things first, if you never want to fail in life, then you need to redefine what you are using to measure your success. The way that you're measuring your success right now is what's making you feel like a failure. And this is because you are using the achievement of the actual goal as a way to define your success. And then when you don't achieve that goal in the set amount of time, all of a sudden you are left feeling like a failure. Then, when you feel like a failure, you feel defeated. And because you feel defeated, you just never end up trying again. And until, of course, when the pain of not trying gets so bad that you're just forced to try again. Most people literally spend their entire lives in this cycle. And if you want to break out of this cycle, then you need to use the right metrics as a way to determine your success. And I'm not saying that meeting your end goal isn't a good sign of success. Of course it is. The issue with this is that a lot of us can't predict the challenges that are going to come up on our way to achieving these goals. And let me tell you, you are going to come across challenges, and a lot of them. It's just honestly how it goes when you are trying to achieve anything great in life. And when we have a specific deadline that we want to achieve our goals by, and if we don't end up meeting that deadline, we end up feeling extremely disappointed. For example, if you're trying to lose weight and your goal is to drop 10 pounds, say by like the end of February, you're doing all the right things, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a loved one ends up in the hospital. And now what's happening is that there is so much extra time and care that you need to take out of your schedule to actually show up for this loved one. And unfortunately, you didn't prepare for this challenge that was going to show up in your life. And because of that, you're unable to lose your weight that you wanted to by the end of February. And now you're just left feeling like you're never going to be able to do this. Let's try to take a look at this scenario from a different point of view. So you want to lose those 10 pounds by the end of February. That is the ultimate outcome that you hope to achieve. Now, you end up listing out the 3 things that you're going to do every single week or day that are going to help you actually meet this goal. For example, an action step could be that you walk 10,000 steps every day. Action step number 2 could be that you eat a giant salad for lunch. And then action number 3 could be that you are going to fast and skip dinner 3 days of the week while still eating breakfast and lunch the next day. In this scenario, the thing that you do differently is that you measure your success not based on the outcome of the 10 pounds, but in your ability to consistently complete these action steps on a weekly basis. So you literally have this checklist that you are going to go through weekly to make sure that you're hitting that 10,000 step mark, right? That you're eating that salad for lunch and that you're skipping that dinner 3 days a week. This is what you are using to actually measure your progress. Now, here's the thing. A lot of us get stuck on that outcome, right? So in this case, it would be losing the weight and measuring that. But the truth is that if you were to commit to these 3 action steps, you are going to lose the weight. Like, do you understand that? And what's great about using the action steps as a way to determine your success is that even if you don't lose the 10 pounds by the end of February, you still feel like a success because your success in the first place was determined by your ability to commit to the action steps themselves. When you use your ability to commit to the action steps as a way to determine your success and not the outcome itself, you will always feel successful. And you're ultimately going to achieve the outcome anyways if you just commit to the action steps to make the outcome become a reality. And the best part about all of this is, and so let's take that example of losing 10 pounds by February, that, say even if you don't lose those 10 pounds by the end of February, maybe you lose 6 to 7 pounds. You don't feel like shit because you know that you just need to commit to the action steps longer in order to achieve your goals. And what I'm trying to really get at here is that you need to become process oriented instead of action oriented. Now, tip number 2 to help you never fail again is to start by giving failure a different name. So, starting today, I want you to call your failure feedback because that's what it actually is. You can never fail in life if all you receive in life is feedback when things don't go your way. This is such a powerful way to reframe failure and not be afraid of it anymore. Like, don't you want feedback? Feedback helps us grow. Feedback helps us be better. Like, we want feedback. We love feedback because we are trying to grow and be better, especially this year. So, say for example, if a client gets angry and wants to stop working with you, see it as feedback to improve things in your career, in your business. If you don't achieve your weight loss goals, then see it as feedback that you need to change up what you're doing so that you can get you to your weight loss goals. If you end up losing your shit around your kids, even though you told yourself that you weren't going to, see that as feedback and look at what you need to change, what you need to improve so that you can be calm around them. When you start to see all the moments where you feel like you have failed as feedback on what needs to improve and get better in your life, you stop being afraid of failure. You stop feeling so shitty about it and making yourself feel shitty about it because you don't need to anymore. Internalizing failure and making it mean something about us as a person is what makes a lot of people afraid of and avoid failure in the first place. It's like mentally we equate failure with being a bad person when that isn't the case. When you internalize your failure, you make it possible make it impossible for you to actually get better and improve the situation. Because if you're a bad person, then why does a bad person ever deserve to get better and improve? You keep yourself more stuck. This then causes, all those icky stories about why you're a victim to your life and blah, 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 all that stuff ultimately come up in your mind. When we stop internalizing failure and when we really start to see it as feedback, it doesn't equate to us being a bad person. It equates to us taking the wrong action steps that produced results that we didn't want. This then helps to actually externalize failure. And this helps us see that it's not necessarily true that there's something wrong with us, but more so it was the approach that we took to make our outcome become a reality. And because there was something wrong with the approach that we took, we need to change the approach and not necessarily us. This ultimately helps us become process oriented again instead of thinking that there is something inherently wrong with us that needs fixing. I also love just reframing failure as feedback because it helps me, and it's going to help you now, to stick to your goals long term instead of giving up when obstacles come in the way, because those obstacles are simply giving me feedback on what needs to change in my life so that I can achieve the goal I want to. The obstacles don't mean that I'm not capable of achieving my goal. This tip is honestly going to save you, especially during those moments when you start to feel super shitty about failing in life. And the shitty feeling honestly comes from a place of feeling shitty about yourself and feeling like you're incapable. So let's stop feeling shitty about ourselves. Let's start seeing failure as feedback and honestly being grateful for it, because it is showing us the changes that we need to make in our life so that we can step up and ultimately be the best freaking version of ourselves. The last tip that is going to help you never fail in 2025 is to help yourself to see that you can't fail. And I know you might be like, okay, that doesn't make sense. So let me explain that to you. Something I found with a lot of my patients and clients is that they just have this really big fear of making decisions and moving forward because there's this huge underlying feeling and fear of failure. There's this huge fear of making the wrong decision, then failing, then having to deal with the consequences of it all, which, let's be honest, no one wants to deal with. What I need you to see here is that there is no such thing as failure in life. When you set out to make a decision or take action on something, you are either going to, one, make the right decision and the action step is going to help you be successful, or it's not. If it's not, then what are you going to do? You are going to, I hope so, correct that action step and do something different so that you can then get to that place of success that you ultimately want to get to. Google defines failure as a lack of success, and you only have a lack of success when you choose to give up. So if you took that action step and it didn't get you to that place of success that you wanted to get to, and you chose to give up, then yes, you did fail because that action step didn't equate to success that you wanted and you chose to never change things. However, if you chose to see that feedback, that failure as feedback, which is now going to be your new favorite word, and you chose to use that feedback as a way to do something different in your life, then you will get one step closer to that place that you actually want to be at. This concept and understanding it changed everything for me. It got me to see that I don't ever really fail because if I choose to get up and do something different when my action steps don't work out for me, and that's no secret to me, it means that I won't ever actually fail. And doesn't this just give you so much more confidence in your life? Doesn't this just feel so reassuring knowing that if you simply don't give up on your goals and you continue to use feedback as a way to shift, as a way to adjust and do things differently, that you will just never fail in life? Wow. Please let that liberate you. Let that concept help you be even more bold and unapologetic in life, knowing that you can never fail. So this is how you're not going to fail in 2025. You are going to become a process-oriented person. You're going to redefine the metrics that you are using to measure your success. Remember to use your action steps. You're going to stop internalizing failure because it simply is feedback. And you are going to apply the concept of never failing by not giving up when you receive feedback and adjusting yourself so that you can ultimately achieve the goals that you want to in life. If you are ready to make 2025 be the year that you become the best version of you and step into that next level of success by optimizing your brain, then use the link in my bio to book a free 30-minute breakthrough session with me, and let's chat about what support for you looks like.